I'm moving again. If you have been following me for any amount of time, you know that I have this nomadic soul and I'm always on the go. And I've been in my last location, which is Santa Fe, New Mexico, for over a year. And I love it here. But my little nomadic soul is starting to call again. And I listen to her when she speaks because she's my boss. My soul is my boss. And I follow my intuition above logic every single day of the week. And this is a tricky thing as an organizer because a lot of people assume that as an organizer, I lead with my brain. That's not that I don't use the brain, it's just a supercomputer that's a tool. I lead by intuition. And it's really, really important for me, it's a value of my life, that when I am doing major changes in my life, listen to my intuition. My brain, again, is this wonderful super tool that I use to figure things out, but generally my decisions are made from my intuition. And so I wanted to share with you a little bit about this move because normally what happens when I decide to move is I make very few videos because moving is exhausting. It is a lot. It's, they have it up there when they talk about like the most challenging things to do in life. It's like death, divorce, moving. Like that's fun, but it is a lot and it is a lot to try to figure out and manage and do. And rarely are we planning to move with like a year lead time. Right. In my case, I have a couple of months of lead time, which is great. And I'm very grateful to have that amount of time. But I wanted to share with you all, I kind of want to let you in behind the scenes and tell you what I do. And look, I know for some of you, you're going to be like, wow, lady, where's the spreadsheet? I don't use the spreadsheets for my moves. I do it intuitively. So I'm going to just share with you what I do and how I process a move in a relatively fast amount of time. So when I move, I generally like to release most things. What I've learned is from doing so many moves, every time I buy something, especially something new, when I move, I always have to weigh, is the amount that it would cost to move it worth the price of the item, right? So a lot of times me paying thousands of dollars to move something, I could replace a lot of that furniture, a lot of that stuff by just like replacing it itself and not actually taking the time to move it where it could get damaged, where things are going on. Plus, I really like not kind of feeding the chain of supply of needing more new stuff all the time. So what I've learned now is that when I move to a new place, I oftentimes buy secondhand. I love Facebook Marketplace. I'll go on there and find my couch or my tables, whatever it is that I need. And then when I leave, I sell it. And what's amazing about that is not only am I not paying to move it, but then I'm also not out any money because oftentimes you're selling it for what you bought it for. Because when you're buying secondhand, it holds its value. And in some cases, like during the last 4 years, it actually can gain value. So sometimes you're making money by doing this. So a lot of times I will actually just make the choice that when I move, I will sell things because I don't want to bring it all with me. I want to start fresh. I like a new chapter. I like that to be the state. Now, the things that I will bring with me are more the memorabilia, my clothing, my books. There are certain things that are more resources for me. There's a few plant babies that I might bring with me, and my gemstones. I never get rid of my gemstones. They're like my babies. But I come from Tucson and we have the Gem and Mineral Show there, and so I'm never going to get the amazing quality of stones that I have again if I go retail. Like this I'm keeping my babies. So when it comes to planning this move, what I'm always doing is I'm thinking of what's got the longest lead time, right? What are the things? So longest lead time, meaning how long is it going to take to do certain things? Like, are there certain items that I can do really quickly that can be left to the last minute if I want to, or I can cram it on a Saturday? But what are the items, more importantly, that require me to have forethought? So selling items is one of them because I can't guarantee how fast items are going to sell. Some markets you might sell. I sold almost everything within 36 hours here in Santa Fe. But I've lived in other markets where stuff might sit around for 2 months and then I have to solve it at the last minute of figuring out who's going to pick up the donations or what's going to happen. So that's the first thing I think of is I will make a list of all the things that require me to have a little bit of a runway for those activities. Now, the other thing that I will do is I will try to take action on items that encourage me to do the things I don't want to do. Even as an organizer, when you are dealing with your own stuff, nobody wants to pack that first box. Nobody wants to go and open their trove of old clothes that they think they should donate and start to donate them, right? Nobody wants to do that, even me who does this for a living. I want to do it for you all day. I'll come to your house. Let's do it. But for my own stuff, I'm like, I don't want to. You can't make me. My last move, I had a friend who is amazing. and she got me to start packing by bringing me a breakfast burrito and a coffee, and that actually worked. So I 10 out of 10 recommend. But I can't, that friend's not here, and I can't bribe myself in this way. So what I will do sometimes, and why I'm talking so much about selling items, is that I will list certain items for sale, my infrastructure pieces. Because what will happen, so for example, the bookshelves that I have had behind me for the last 3 or 4 years, I sold those first. And I did that because if I sell those, I have to clear those. I have to get all of my books into boxes, or I have to purge them, and I have to box up my decor. And what it did is it ripped that Band-Aid off because I didn't want to start packing. I was like, oh, no, thank you, please. And I had 2 weekends where I didn't start packing, and I thought, I need some motivation. So I sold the bookshelves, and those bookshelves were hot tickets, baby. So they were immediately getting, interest peaked. And so I was like, oh, someone's going to come today. I need to clear these off. So I did. I went through all my books and I purged stuff, and then I boxed up the rest. And it was actually relatively simple, but we want to find something to kind of rip that Band-Aid off. And so for me, it's sometimes selling the infrastructure because it forces me into a state of action. Because here's the thing, when you're moving, we all have the greatest of intentions of, I'm going to purge everything. I'm going to pare down. I will be fantasizing, I'm not kidding, about paring down my memorabilia boxes. I don't need to do that. That's not a pre-move thing. They're fine. It's organized. It's in a box. I don't need to do that. But my little brain, she's like, but that sounds more fun than having to wrap up every valuable, delicate thing I own. I don't want to pack wine glasses today. I don't want to, pull my art off the walls, like live in a neutral, sterile place again. So what you want to do is you want to find a way to kind of like trick yourself into taking action. So that's one of the things that I do. And then I'll go through the house and I'll be like, okay, great. Where are my dopamine hits? Where are the things that I can do that I feel excited about? And I will just say, sometimes the best thing we can do when we're feeling a little stuck when it comes to a move is make a list. Right? Because part of what happens is we go into this whole freeze state because there are so many things to do and we are so overwhelmed and our poor little brain is going nonstop. So I will make a list. I'll make a list of everything I want to sell. I'll make a list of everything I want to donate, everything I want to give to someone else, a list of everything that I know I want to take with me, a list of maybes, right? I might be like, I don't know if I want to take this. I need to see details about my next place or whatever it is, right? Things that I need to take time with or things that I need to kind of hash out with someone else. Don't be afraid to reach out to your friends or family members and say, hey, I'm really struggling knowing if I should take this with me, and let them kind of be a sounding board with you to process that information. So making a list can be really helpful because it will actually give you an action. It'll give you something where you kind of understand what you need to do. And that way, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to make easy entryway points for your move. We're trying to give you easy things that you can take action on. So for example, this week I have slept very poorly. If I have, tiny little eyes today, it's because I have not slept well this week. So what can I work on today that doesn't require a lot of brain power? Well, I can do a change of address. I can, go through and cancel my utilities. There's some things that I can do that don't require a lot of brain power. If my physical body is tired from not sleeping, I'm probably not going to start on lifting heavy boxes and dragging stuff around. That's not honoring my body. And so we really want to pace ourselves and do things based on what we feel we need to do. One of the things that I tell you all the time is you might be right. Right? We are so used to thinking that we're wrong. We're so used to saying, oh, I'm just lazy and I should have it all together. And why can't I figure this out? And everybody else would be packed in 2 weeks. Star would be packed in 2 weeks. No, she would not. No, she would not. She is tired. She doesn't want to pack. She doesn't want to do it. Right? What we need to do is we need to say some days it's okay that you don't feel like doing it. Sometimes it's because you're not supposed to be doing it. So don't do it. Other days, yes, we need to do it. We may not want to. We're a little cranky about it. We're a little frustrated about it. And we need to find our way into those activities. And so making a primary list of activities can be really helpful because it all has to get done. It doesn't really matter what order a lot of that happens in. It doesn't matter if I box up my decor today or call my utilities today. It doesn't matter. And so what we want to do is we really want to take the time to create a space where you have a lot of yes. And by yes, I mean things that feel good, comfortable to take action on, things that you can actually see yourself doing. Because what happens with moves and a lot of big transitions in organizing is we know what needs to be done, right? You're smart. You know the layers of things that need to be done. And knowing that is overwhelming. You can feel very stuck very easily. And so one of the best things we can do is just start to give ourselves easy ins, right? Like I might walk through, I met someone the other day and she was absolutely delightful. And I was like, I want to give her these things. So instead of me donating them, I went and grabbed them when she came. I gave them to her and it felt so good, right? And that was a small thing. And it took me 2 minutes to do, and maybe to pack it would have taken me 10 minutes. So I saved myself 8 minutes. Now I can go nap for 8 minutes because I'm tired. But this is what we're looking for. And this goes way beyond just moving wisdom. This goes into setting ourselves up with the tasks and activities in our lives and our organizing projects that need us. When we are trying to be so in this state of like accomplishment, do, sometimes we get ourselves stuck. And so what you can do is you can do one of two things. You can either do the intuition flow and say to yourself, what feels right today? And trust that insight. It may not make sense to most people. It does not need to. It is not your job to have your life or actions make sense to other people. It is your job to honor yourself and truly walk through your path in a positive and powerful way. So you can do it by intuition, or you can do a big brain dump task list of all the things that need to be done. Now, if you do this, I do recommend right after you write the action that needs to be done, in parentheses, put how long you think it's going to take, because then it starts fitting into your schedule and into your mind. It doesn't feel like, well, this is going to take infinity. You're like, oh, that's going to take 12 minutes. Oh, that's going to take an hour. You can start to, process that a little bit better and suit it to your time and your schedule. So you can make this giant brain dump list and then pull things off of there that feel good, knowing that it all has to get done. But you can choose to work from intuition, or you can choose to work from logic, and both really work for you. And you might want to do both. You might build that brain dump list so that you know that you have options, and then intuitively pick what feels right from that list that day. And the last thing that I will say to you is, it is okay to choose something that feels good. This does not need to feel like a root canal without Novocaine. It is okay to do something that feels fun. It's okay to do the thing you want to do. It's okay to need support and ask for help around the things you don't want to do. Have a friend come over, bring a breakfast burrito, and help you box up your paperwork if you hate paperwork. It is okay and actually quite necessary to lean into your community at times where it feels really challenging. And it's okay to get yourself in the mood for doing these big projects by doing something that feels a little fun to you. As always, trust yourself, listen to your intuition. You've got this. It is such an honor to have you here. Please subscribe to stay with me on this journey. I'm going to share next about how you know if you should sell something. I'm so excited about that. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.